Oh, alright. What's up, everybody? Let me figure out why the camera's not working. There we go. There's the camera. What's up, everybody? Happy whatever day it is. Uh, Pause iTunes because I hit the wrong button. There we go. It's Thursday, which means absolutely nothing. What? You're at the multi-dimensional gap? Oh, okay. You're at the money spot? Cool. The good news is, we ran out of pellets yesterday, and I finally got the fire started right before I started streaming, so the house will be a decent temperature by the time I go to bed. Just in time to turn it down. So maybe today, after I'm done doing flowers and housing dyes, maybe I'll load up some of the videos of people critiquing the video that we watched yesterday and compare notes.
What can I do for you? Safe travels.
I'm one of those dramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Oh, Plixie is not available today. Time to build up more garrison resources. Oh, I need to be over here. I need to stay by the bank on this character. To analyze my dreams, she says it's lack of sex that's bringing me down. I'm sleepy. It's been a long week, even though I haven't done anything. Sting to control, so I better hold on. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. I wonder how many of those dyes sold yesterday. So on a normal day when Plixie's not the vendor, I make 3 to 5K a day. But I made like way more dyes yesterday. Because I had a lot of built up resources. Some characters had way more built up resources than others. Hey, maybe you'll get lucky and somebody will be like, hey, do you want to do a key? Probably not, though.
The winds guide you.
How may I aid you?
Nah, then.
I must get closer.
Cool. Let's see this. I'm checking my noise gate, see if it works. I feel like there's too much stuff getting through my microphone. Maybe I'll turn the gain up. I have a limiter, but I don't know what it does. I set all this stuff up back in the day, and I didn't pay attention to what any of it meant. I know what gain is. Gain, I know what it is. Noise gate, I know what a noise gate is. But limiter, I don't know exactly what function that, like, actually limits. That picked up my mug hitting my keyboard. I don't like that. What I don't like is I'll be recording my TikToks and it doesn't fucking... like, it'll cut out in the middle of me talking. That's irritating. Maybe I'm going to start recording my TikToks with my microphone back down here where it was before. Hey kid. I'm alive. How are you? I'm tired and sore. Hey, funny story. I resemble both of those remarks. Throw in old and here we are. Why am I sore? So last week? I don't remember if it was last week or the week before. I didn't do my workout. And for the last few weeks, even when I did my workout, I had cut out a couple things. For time reasons. And so I picked them back up this week. And so I'm sore in areas that I haven't been sore in about 3 months. Also, just because, like, I get out of bed and everything creaks. I've been doing stuff, for a while. I just took a break. I took a break over Christmas, and then it's taken me a while to get back into it. But
Hey there.
for a long time, we had
See you later.
a treadmill that Logan got from one of his friends, and that died, and we ended up getting an elliptical from another friend of ours.
Great to meet you.
Unfortunately, it's battery powered, so I got to replace the battery like once a month, and it's 4 AA batteries, which is a pain in the ass. But Logan got a bench a long time ago, and it's an adjustable bench, so you can do like incline and decline and stuff. And we have some adjustable dumbbells. They go from 5 to 50 pounds. Do I want a walking pad? No. I probably wouldn't use it. Mostly because I wouldn't use it, not because it probably wouldn't be helpful. I go on a walk around the neighborhood every Wednesday. So that's what I did yesterday. I came home, made my lunch, took my walk around the neighborhood, then came home and did streaming stuff. I don't know, your mom might like it. She won't get on the elliptical. Did I enjoy the halftime show? Yeah, the halftime show was fucking great. Funny story about you asking me that question, though. There's a girl at work who's probably about your age. She came up to me and she's like, "So, what'd you think about the Bad Bunny halftime?" And it was a test. She wanted to see if I was old and out of touch and racist.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
I passed the test, by the way. Dude, so, like, I was telling your mom, she saw a video the other day that kind of summed it up really well about all these idiots who are like, "Oh, I just wish it were in English because I couldn't understand it." And it's like, people go to the opera and they don't fucking know Italian and they enjoy it. Or she said, people go to the ballet and they don't know fucking German.
Oh, you got your chocolate froze.
It's like, you don't need to understand the language to get the vibe. Context clues, people.
What brings you here?
Yeah, exactly. Like, all the shit was there. Like, even when he was just speaking to the camera, like, you kind of get the vibe he was going for when he was talking. Like, there are still a lot of like breakdowns of it that I still get on my feed, and like I appreciate them, but I think we're like to the point now where it's kind of like, okay, we can move on. Like, you either liked it or you didn't like it, and if you didn't like it, it's because you're racist. It's a cow.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's funny because I didn't realize when they were setting it up that the grass were people until they were coming off the field. I was like, oh damn. How cool would that be to just be a grass person?
Oh, that's really nice. Oh.
Fucking cut myself at work. That's the second day I've cut myself at work, by the way. On metal. I'm making these parts, and when it parts it off of the bar, the one that cut me left a big sliver on the... What is this?
For you.
No, this is clearly to you.
Mom got so much chocolate. She's keeping the Lindor and the Ghirardellis for herself.
Is metal or glass worse? Metal is worse because glass is cleaner. Also, metal, a lot of times, like, this is a pretty straight cut. But a lot of times, metal will leave, like, a jagged cut, whereas glass is pretty clean. Glass is more like a paper cut. Like, it's so fine that, like, you don't notice it at first, and then it hurts like a bitch. I did a bad one over Christmas on a grater. Still can't fully bend. Dude, on a cheese grater? Dude, cutting yourself on a cheese grater is brutal, man. Yeah, that's rough. Cause that's like, that's not just cutting. That's like taking chunks.
Your flesh off.
Eek.
Did you put in for Madeline's prescription and see if there was any left?
There are none left. I put in a request to get more refills. I said that yesterday.
You're welcome, buddy. Yeah, $30 Starbucks card.
$30 to a place that we don't go. Awesome.
$3 for a place that I go.
We don't
Okay, if I have gift cards, I'll use them, but I won't spend my money.
we don't willingly go to the place that let the Sonics go to Oklahoma City. Speaking of Oklahoma City, I tweeted out yesterday because the parade for the Super Bowl was yesterday, and I tweeted out that the Mariners' success and the Seahawks' success was the sports gods' comeuppance for allowing the Zombie Sonics to win an NBA title last season. It's an axolotl.
I know. One of my little gave them to every single one of their friends. I've never seen Valentine's like these parents did up for their classmates. We're talking like special bags with all sorts of stuff. And then there was
by the way, Dad ordered.
I saw it's here on Saturday.
That's what I said. I was like, it's gonna be here on Saturday. She's like, that's fine. We're doing it on Tuesday. I was like, whatever.
Tomorrow we're decorating our beds.
Okay. Okay, you're doing it Tuesday?
Yeah.
So, anyway, the one mom, the one who got me
We were gonna do one and then we were like, we don't have
flowers, said, Shannon said to her, oh my god, Miss Lynette went crazy over the little axolotls. She loves axolotls. And she went, I have one left. Do you want one? I said, there was none left. And she goes, I have one. I was like, you don't have to. She goes, have it. So she pulled it out of her bag, and she was the mom who helped out.
Hey, your other child says hi.
Logan?
Nope.
Jackson?
Nope.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's online?
Yeah.
soda
Wait,
for
where'd he
Massachusetts.
go?
Where's what?
The soda for Massachusetts.
Where soda goes.
It's in the fridge.
Moo.
Yeah, your mom brought home a bunch of Valentine stuff from her students, and she's just like passing it out to everybody.
I got a stuffed animal and flowers. I'm
Yes.
happy.
A stuffed cow. I don't know what that has to do with preschool,
It
but
says you're moveless.
And then
you're moveless.
my coworker got me,
A boba?
and it's a Starbucks cup.
Oh, hell, oh, you're not gonna eat that.
And this is not from my coworker.
Well, the funny thing is, it's not a.
Look at how big this thing is.
It's a bull. It's not a cow.
Yeah.
That's fucking huge.
Uh huh.
You ever had these?
What are
They're
they?
really good. They're Jolly Rancher gummies.
Oh, they're whatever. They're not Jolly Ranchers. It's a boba.
She's got a boba and an axolotl, and I've got a cow that's not a cow.
I need to get closer.
You got a bull. I mean, the bull still technically
No, it could be a
moves.
Highland cow.
Oh yeah, you're right. That could be a Highland cow.
Oh yeah, I guess it could be a Highland cow.
I told Grammy about what I thought we should do.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how my playlist works, right? Like, I don't pick my playlist.
Yeah, you wanna know what I'm gonna
It is a playlist that has been created that is all the songs that have been played on the end since its inception. So like this, or over there, wherever it is on whatever platform you're watching, like that's a playlist that's created based on the songs that are on the end. I don't actually pick them. I just put it on shuffle and go boop. Yeah, it's like, let me see, let me open it. It's it is 1,066 songs. That is 69 hours and 58 minutes. What? Who doesn't like shuffle? That doesn't make any, what? Who just listens to shit straight through? There's only one type of album you listen to straight through, and that is a rock opera. So like American Idiot and Tommy and I don't know, there's probably other ones, but like, no, you get shuffle. No, absolutely not. That's psychopath behavior. And you can tell him I said that.
He found my Highland cow.
Alright, maybe not. Maybe don't say
These
that I
yours?
said that. Bolt found your Highland cow?
Yeah.
Doesn't Bolt already have one of your stuffed animals?
Look at him.
Oh, that's Bolt's now.
They've been out for a week.
What are you talking about?
Really?
It's not. They were fine. They were in the.
They were in the freezer. We froze them so that they wouldn't go bad because you just left them on the counter. I did think about listening to American Idiot the other day. Because the pregame set list that they chose, mwah. You listen to Weezer on your way home? Oh, also Weezer, although I didn't technically choose this, that one Weezer concert I went to where they played the Blue Album and Pinkerton front to back and then front to back was acceptable. Weird, but acceptable.
your actual card.
Well, apparently Tammy hasn't been there all week, so
Welcome. You're back.
Oh, it's one giant bag. I figured. Oh, there's 2 bags.
those, dude, a guy at work had gummy sour Skittles, and I was like, that's not right. It's like they're good, and I was like, no, Skittles are a certain thing. They can't be gummy. It's like Jolly Ranchers, can't be gummy. Jolly Ranchers are Jolly Ranchers.
Sorry. Hello, my love.
Hi. So according to our other child, their partner doesn't like shuffle. Thinks that you should listen to albums in order.
Well, if it's a new album, okay, I understand
That's
that.
disgusting.
But if no.
That's
I mean,
disgusting.
But if it's like,
No.
If it's meant to be listened to in order, I'll listen to it in order.
Yeah.
If it's
Which
meant
is
to
like
be.
no album except for certain ones. Like most albums are just a bunch of singles that they throw together.
yeah. What?
Yeah, see, that clearly says Ms. Lynette. That doesn't
Yes, I know.
say.
Do you want them?
That
though?
doesn't say Mr. Lynette.
Oh, Jesus. Do you want them?
It's fine. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
You're not gonna eat them?
I mean, eventually. I still have cookies to eat from Friday.
No, there's literally a piece of cookie left.
There was 4 pieces of cookie like 2 hours ago.
I just had one.
I had one. Because I didn't have the
Hey.
triple chocolate one yet.
They want to know if you want a walking pad.
Who wants to know if I want to walk? I mean, yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't have put them in your lap.
I
if they
wouldn't
weren't
use
for you,
it.
Ding dong.
Oh, but I would.
What, a walking pad?
Because this goes up.
Yes, I know that goes up, but you also do that while I'm sitting here.
No, I'm saying if you weren't here for some reason, I would absolutely do it.
They're the little mascots.
Yeah, those aren't Jolly Ranchers.
No. Or Jolly Rancher, the company's gummy.
First of all, Jolly
the
Rancher the
candy.
company is
I mean, the candy brand. They're on my Hershey's. I'm more.
Hello.
the Hershey Bears, like the hockey team. That always beats the Firebirds in the AHL playoffs.
What's on your mind?
Also thinking about making.
Yeah. All right.
You need to be doing it fine.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Oh, piece of candy.
Da, 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 da. All right, they're gonna see how much it costs to ship. It's probably gonna be expensive.
What is going on? I don't understand.
They don't want it anymore. They're asking if you want it.
Oh. Dude, sell it somewhere and get some money for it instead. Don't ship it to me. That's silly. See if you can sell it on like marketplace or somewhere and get some money for it.
Giles is moving into your place? Alright, that's confusing. I'm confused by that statement. That's cute.
Yeah. I know, isn't that sweet? It was so cute.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I knew that was happening, but they're
I didn't know that was happening. Why would I know that was happening?
what? They can't afford it. There's so many bills, medical bills, and everything. They're having to sell it. So you're gonna be living together?
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But $2,000 for childcare, that's insane. That's like...
Listen.
still-
This is 2026, Lynette. People don't charge
$800 a month.
$300 for one child anymore. So is he working from home? Is that why he can do that?
It had been.
Well, I wasn't sure. Oh, well that sucks. That's less than ideal. Definitely can't afford it when you don't have a job.
How are you? See you later.
Yeah, that'll help.
How are you?
As long as you guys are comfortable with the arrangement.
Watch your back.
Have you heard anything from Logan about how he's doing? How he's feeling?
I haven't talked to Logan.
I got in there and there was nothing like wrong. Like, you know, normally at this point if you're still getting an infection, they would be worried there's something wrong in there, like something got left or there's a chip or something. No, apparently they think it must just be because you can't have penicillin, amoxicillin, all those.
I read what you said.
Okay, so that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. Other than making fun of him for having to get a job back at McDonald's for all these oral surgery appointments he's got to go to. And then he said he didn't have to pay.
Yeah. Because it, like, it's
Well,
not his fault.
the joke was that he that he was homeless and he was playing WoW at McDonald's. And so I jokingly said, yeah, he had to go get his old job back to pay for these oral surgery appointments. And he's like, I don't have to pay. It's on them because the shit's fucked up. And I was like, are you getting paid to not go to work? He didn't answer.
Yeah.
I don't think he appreciated my joke. Just too bad, because I'm hilarious. I finally got the fire going.
Yeah.
It took me all morning, and then
I worked on it too.
when I reset it the first time after I got done working out, it started feeding, but it never would stay on. So the third reset, it finally started regulating.
Yeah.
Could have been because our bedroom door was open though, and it was 95 degrees in our bedroom when I got here.
Who wish to speak?
Where? Oh, is it much further, Grandmaster?
Is it much further, Grandmaster?
Peace, friend.
Good luck, Grandmaster.
Good luck, Grandmaster.
I don't know, buddy.
Go ask Google. It's in the middle of June.
Hey, pull up what it says that our what we say we owe still on the
It's
cruise.
like $1,400.
They're saying we owe like 1,000. Yeah.
Well, that's what it said when I looked at it the other day.
No, I mean like our thing. We were keeping track.
Oh, the document?
Yeah.
Is it a Word document? Because I don't see it here.
I don't know, you were the one who made it.
Oh, it's because I'm not looking on the fucking... $10.25.84.
Okay, that's about it. Yep.
Alright, love you too. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Mom says hi. Love you. Alright, so time to do my daily decor hunt.
Good to see you again, Grandmaster.
Every brick tells a story.
Don't worry about me, Grandmaster. I remembered my water-breathing potions.
Tahonu.
Good luck, Grandmaster. Hello, Bolt. You were on something you weren't supposed to. I heard you jump down. What would you say? You a doggy on a chain. That's way of being forgotten. Mom, it's my birthday, would you say?
So delicious.
Greetings.
Dumbass cat.
Bye.
Good to see you again, Grandmaster.
Hi.
That wasn't supposed to do that. Alright, whatever. Okay. There's gotta be a way for me to Okay, this is what I want. So, nope.
Keep your
Alright,
feet on the
so
ground.
if I go to TSM and I go to operations and I go to warehousing, create new operation. Set how many items are moved out of the bank. In the bank.
Great to meet you. good. Welcome.
What? Okay.
I had it. And I got.
Maybe there's underwear in your backpack.
That was one where I accidentally had an accident. And yeah, and they're a bit too.
Mm,
Then you just had a little on your and you can handle it. Is that what you're telling me?
okay, so
It's fine.
Yeah. It. Like, not that much, but not just 2 cold drops or more. It didn't soak in it.
oh, because I forgot to do the thing.
Off with you.
It's a bit that's staying
How are you?
well is my I had an accident.
Oh, cool, it did it. Nice. This is way better. Should have set this up weeks ago. Oh, so good. Ah.
Watch your back.
That is not the right mount.
You know, maybe take a nice walk. Maybe do some stretches. Maybe have lots of water. Maybe have a pee or two. Yeah, cause you worth it.
So, we're gonna look into the cover. So, this is something you're gonna love it.
Oh, alright, well. Now what? Now what do I do for an amount of time that has yet to be determined?
added a date to .com's show here. The 30th and the 31st.
As promised, this week's video is about the law, and boy are we blessed because we have ourselves a brand new Xanathach video to enjoy. This is not a reaction video. This is a video to provide analysis, speculation, context, that sort of thing. Xanathach's animation supremacy finally gives us a little bit of backstory for Xanathach. But of course, we're left with even more questions than answers. And questions not only about Xanathach, but about Tyrande Whisperwind, the Night Warrior, and Illume. But I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's dive right in. A quick recap of how we got to this scene. Salhadar is a villain who we first encountered on Outland during the Burning Crusade. Supposedly driven by his desire for revenge against Dimensius, Salhadar was leading a group of ethereals into becoming void themselves. In reality, Salhadar was working for Dimensius and gathering fragments from the Void Lord that had been scattered throughout the universe in order to bring him back. Either way, he was bad news, and we killed him. But during our recent visit to what remains of Koresh, it was revealed that he has since been remade in the Void.
Salhadar survived?
Oracles of Koresh! You dare defy your king! You dare break your oath!
King Salhadar! You died, and our Earth died with you.
No. With Dimensius as my master, I have been remade in the Void.
Salhadar finally succeeded in his plan to resurrect Dimensius during Ghosts of Koresh, but with Xanathach's help, we managed to defeat them both. This time, we didn't kill Salhadar. Instead, while he lay defeated on the floor, Xanathach absorbed him.
My reign!
Another king falls. You should be glad I know a loyal, tractable servant when I see one.
No!
That was the last that we saw of Salhadar. If this scene took place after that, then that suggests Xanathach may have imprisoned him and his followers on a realm that she controls, like the Void Storm, a void-formed realm we'll be dealing with in Midnight. Although, some people have pointed out that the scenery looks more like Outland, specifically Blade's Edge Mountains. So, maybe Salhadar escaped, fled to an old world he's familiar with, and built a following. Alternatively, there is the possibility that this scene actually took place long before we met Salhadar in Koresh. We never found out how the Shadow God Ethereal, the same Ethereal Salhadar leads, came to be working for Xanathach during Dragonflight. Supposedly, it was all a ruse to get the Dark Heart, and they abandoned Xanathach once accomplishing that. But it's also possible Salhadar and the Shadow God never actually stopped working for Xanathach, which might even mean she was in on the plot to summon Dimensius. After all, Xanathach did end up getting everything she wanted in Koresh. Her absorbing Salhadar in the raid could have just been her stepping in to save him. It makes her comment about being able to recognize a loyal, tractable servant make a lot more sense, especially when you consider how she didn't bother to save Antarek or Gallywix. Here we see Salhadar and his followers are actively engaged in a vigorous debate. Xanathach's Void followers are trying to convince them to follow her.
Nexus King, Xanathach is supreme. Join us, or be consumed. My ethereals will never be found again! Xanathach be damned!
Salhadar appears to actually be trying to be a real leader to his people. They were bound to Dimensius for centuries, but now he wants to preserve their newfound freedom. And before you feel too sympathetic towards him, remember that the reason why his people were bound to Dimensius in the first place was due to decisions he made. There are some very obvious parallels between Salhadar and Queen Ashara. Both made bad decisions partly due to their own arrogance. Both led to the downfall of their own people. And to give them credit where it's due, they both continued to lead even through disaster. They didn't abandon their leadership responsibilities, not even when they knew they had messed up. So, Salhadar and Ashara 1, Thrall and Anduin 0. Salhadar manages to open a portal out of the Void Storm and calls for his followers to retreat.
Retreat! Run now!
And honestly, they could and probably should have just run. You know how any legend about escaping a terrible place like the underworld goes. You have to look straight ahead and run. Do not let yourself be distracted. Do not look back. And when Salhadar hears Xalatath calling his name, that's when he makes the classic mistake. He looks around. Xalatath's appearance here is excellent. Coming down from above, the terrified scream as she appears. It's all very terrifying ghost, demon, witch. But she doesn't come down with violence. Instead, her voice is soft, reasonable.
Stay. Let this pointless resistance be done.
She's not commanding him to stay. She's asking him, trying to persuade rather than control. I also can't help but notice how, in this scene here, these crescent moon-like shapes that are part of her strange markings really stand out. The one on her forehead especially reminded me of the crescent moon tattoos the high priestesses got in Mists of Avalon, a symbol meant to show their devotion to the goddess. Or, if you want something more in keeping with Azeroth's own context, it's not unlike the crescent moon that the Night Elf Elune worshippers, like Tyrande Whisperwind, wear on their foreheads. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself again. More on this later. As I said, Xalatath is making sure she sounds very reasonable, very tempting, very, I'm just doing this to help you.
Stay. Let this pointless resistance be done.
Xalatath.
For eons, you and your people have been slaves, fed scraps. But I offer you a freedom beyond imagining.
Empty promises. What do you know of our suffering?
This is Xalatath, of course, who everyone knows is about as trustworthy as Gallywix in a business deal. And while her voice may be cajoling, her expression kinda gives her away. So it's not too surprising when Salhadar doesn't seem to buy it for a second. The problem with someone like Xalatath is, if you do try to argue with them, they'll just use your own arguments to figure out the best way to manipulate you. With this question, Salhadar has just shown Xalatath his cards, and now she knows how to win. There's this moment as the argument she's about to use is laid before her, before she visibly shifts gears.
What do you know of our suffering?
After spending 50 years on Wall Street, I just handpicked the company I believe could go down.
Notice also how the crescent moon theme keeps showing up? Even her eyes look like crescent moons. Of course, I'm being very cynical here. It is also possible that Salhadar's question cut through Xalatath's own defenses, and in this moment she decides to open up. I suspect that's part of it as well. She wants to tell her story, but it's also Xalatath. She doesn't do anything unless it's calculated.
They say that I am the harbinger of the void. That I am the blade of the Black Empire that was. There have been many tales told about me. But I'll tell you the truth no one living has heard.
Of course, no one living means something very different to no one at all. What she's really saying is, anyone who does already know this story is dead. Which doesn't mean we're never going to have a conversation with them, because, after all, the Shadowlands exists. We know that something weird is going on with the Shadowlands. Sylvanas mentioned it when we recently visited her, so there is still story to be explored there.
I expected the Maw to be alien, unknowable. But these structures are...
Familiar. I agree. I have seen past the veil of true death, Erator. There is more to the Shadowlands than it seems.
Why are you doing this, Sylvanas?
Isn't it obvious? This is my penance. But more than that, it is my purpose. Erator is correct about one thing. I am a Windrunner. And I have not forgotten where I came from. But as I told him, now is not the time for me to return to the world of the living. You have noticed, have you not? The Maw, the Shadowlands, all of it. The question that has plagued me since the jailer's demise. I know the truth of death better than most. This, it is too convenient, too ordered. I have made many foes on the path that brought me here. Most of them once called me an ally. I do not regret the choices I've made. Nor do I bear ill will toward those who met me with their fangs bared. But know this, I cannot stop now. I must not stop now. Or all I have done will have been for naught. Return to Azeroth, fight the battles ahead of you. One day our paths will cross again.
But back to Xalatath, who reveals she was once mortal.
Once, long, long ago, I was mortal, like you.
This isn't actually news to us. We first learned this from a line that briefly appeared on the PTR. So briefly, I never got footage of it. But there was a point in the main Ghosts of Koresh storyline where Xalatath asked us if we were surprised to hear she was once immortal. It was weird because it was actually the first time she had mentioned it, and then the line was removed. I can only imagine that they made the decision that the reveal would work better in this animation. Anyway, as Xalatath tells her story, we see a world that appears to have already been destroyed. It looks like it's already covered in ash. Bodies half coming out of the ground, their arms raised as if to protect themselves. It's all very surprise disaster. In the middle of it all stands what appears to be a child. And since the camera is very much focusing on this being, we assume it's Xalatath. The void looms overhead. This already raises questions. For a start, why is this child still alive? At first, the way she stands in the center of the destruction, half hugging herself, she almost looks guilty, as if she's the one responsible for the destruction we're seeing. Then she falls to her knees, her hands spread out, palms up, a universal sign of submission. She feels defeated. This could all be read as she failed to protect her world, but it could also be read that she was the one who doomed her world. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Her world has been destroyed. By the looks of it, everyone she knew in her mortal life is dead, and she's next. And her hood falling, she looks up into the whispers of the void.
I lost my world, just like you.
And I do just want to take a moment here to analyze the appearance of this mortal. For a start, I will acknowledge it's always possible this is not Xalatath. I doubt it though. The framing makes it very clear we are at least supposed to assume it is Xalatath, and when the child absorbs the void, its eyes transform to look just like Xalatath's eyes. Secondly, it's worth acknowledging that we don't know for sure that this is a child. It could be that Xalatath was from a race of creatures very similar to gnomes. The clothing especially isn't very childlike. The robes, the star pendant, and even the eye makeup all suggest some sort of priest. On the other hand, the bodies surrounding the child look like they're adult-sized. Perspective may be misleading here, but it does appear that she was not only childlike in appearance, but actually smaller than most of the other members of her race. So the assumption that this is a child is not an unreasonable one to make. But I also think she was a priest, or at least a child dedicated in some sort of priestly order. And I would bet money that it was an order that worshipped the light. Her makeup is gold, but initially so are her eyes, a red gold, and she wears a very prominent star around her neck. I wondered a bit about the symbol. At first I thought it looked like an 8-pointed star or compass, but looking closer it has 12 points, 6 large and 6 small. I'm reminded of the cosmological charts. We have 2 that we know of so far. One places the force of light at the top, the other death, but they both show essentially the same thing. 6 large forces, light, shadow, life, death, order and disorder, and 6 smaller forces, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, and decay. Even if this is the meaning behind the symbol, I couldn't find any mention of 12-pointed stars in the mythology of Azeroth, but it did immediately make me think of the Empress Tarot card. In a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, she wears a crown of 12 stars on her forehead. This is a reference to the woman of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation. She's described as a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. World of Warcraft has made biblical references before. For example, Y'Shaarj is known as the 7-headed one, or the beast with 7 heads. In Revelation, the woman of the apocalypse is about to give birth, and her child is threatened by a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. In other words, the same beast that Y'Shaarj has always been a reference to. And of course, Renelash, the final battle between the forces of the darkness and the forces of light that has been coming up over and over again lately, has always been a bit of a reference to the biblical apocalypse. And while I'm on this runaway train of thought, the World of Warcraft tarot deck decided to make Tyrande Whisperwind the Empress card, a decision that a lot of people found confusing. She seemed ideally suited for the High Priestess, a card that they gave to Jaina Proudmoore instead. It's always been a bit of an odd choice. Unless, of course, they knew something we didn't. But back to the animation.
I drowned in hatred and vengeance, just like you.
Xal'atath tells us she drowned in hatred and vengeance as we watch this child accept the powers of the void. As I said, her eyes changed to be more like Xal'atath's own, but this also can't help but remind me of another transformation, Tyrande's transformation into the Night Warrior.
Experience Japan on a journey customized to you. Explore
Make me the instrument of your vengeance!
And hey, look at that! Later there's a Night Warrior Tyrande wearing a crescent moon on her forehead. The problem with the Night Warrior, we've always been told, is it destroys you. It nearly killed Tyrande. During Shadowlands, we met the spirits of Kadarin and his husband Theonax, whose planet was attacked by the Void. My world was called Fazandi. It was a beautiful world of vast forests, mighty mountains, and tranquil plains. It was for these wilds we fought against the Dark God. Some generations before I was born, the Dark God landed on our world. The impact wiped out an entire kingdom and disrupted the balance of nature. No one who ventured into the area returned from the wasteland. Theonax eventually became the Night Warrior, and it saved his world, but it cost him his life. But it was actually Kadarin's mother who first ventured into the wasteland and attempted to invoke the Night Warrior's power. It was my mother who discovered the nature of what lived in the center of the crater. To slay the beast from another world, she tried to invoke Elun's dark face. She died. To succeed, we needed the power the last speaker had tried to invoke from Mother Moon. We fought over that. It had already killed his mother. He did not wish for it to kill his husband too. Ka'adan's mother was called the Last Speaker. What an interesting title. After Xalatath accepts the Void's power, she's torn apart, and then her body is turned to ash. So on the surface, as her world is being destroyed around her, she reaches out to the Void just in time for her soul to be infused with Void and saved, while her body is destroyed by the same thing that destroyed the ashen bodies around her. But this could also show Xalatath, a priestess of the light just like Tyrande, taking on a power just like that of the Night Warrior, just like Tyrande did, and it destroying her body. This could even be Kaadin's mother. It'd be weird because of the whole looking like a child thing, but aging magic is something that exists in the World of Warcraft universe, so it could work. If this is a Night Warrior ritual that we're seeing, then Xalatath's found a way to survive it. If it isn't, well, I'm still suddenly find myself asking a lot of questions about Elune and the Night Warrior ritual again. Of all the godlike beings associated with the light, Elune remains the most interesting. Her sister is a member of the Death Pantheon. Elune herself grants void-like powers. What's going on with this moon goddess? I'm also really interested to know if I'm right about Xalatath once being a priestess for the light. Is she angry that her gods allowed her world to burn, the same way that a lot of night elves feel about Elune? Is that why she chose to embrace the void, and why she claims to value survival over anything else?
Make me the instrument of your vengeance!
I lost my world, just like you. I drowned in hatred and vengeance, just like you. But the one thing I've learned over in eternity is that survival is all that matters.
Xalatath crumbling into dust is particularly visceral. It also puts me in mind of the way Locust Walker began to crumble when Xalatath killed him, which makes me wonder if they were basically killed by the same magic. I do want to take a moment to appreciate how, after days of the most annoying people alive complaining about the Disneyfication of World of Warcraft because of an outrage they manufactured over a quote they purposefully misunderstood, Blizzard gave us a cinematic that includes a cute Disney-looking character getting torn apart in graphic and horrific detail. But it has big eyes, so I guess that's kinda Disney. Of course, there is all this focus on an extremely powerful and dangerous woman, so I guess it's true. World of Warcraft has been thoroughly feminized. It's ours now, and we're not giving it back. In the end, Xalatath's conclusion is that all that matters is survival. Specifically, survival for the creatures of the Void.
What I'm about to do ensures survival for all our kind.
Our kind?
You are one of us. You are void now.
Salhadar was returned to life through the powers of the Void. Like Xalatath, it's their link to the Void that seems to have allowed their spirit to live on, even without a body. But the thing that really does seal the deal for Salhadar in the end is the promise of power.
You may flee, but only I offer a true path forward. Survival and more is at my side. And you can lead them all. The choice is yours.
this should remind us to be cautious of being too quick to believe Xalatath as well. She talks about survival, a sympathetic cause that anyone can empathize with, but she's chasing supremacy, a dangerous cause that makes anyone a very serious threat. And when Salhadar makes the decision to close the portal and kneel, Xalatath's smug smile is so self-satisfied. Once again, her manipulations have been successful and she really loves winning and successfully controlling people so much. I love this cinematic. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what I think about the parallels I see between Xalatath and Tarunde. They feel purposeful to me, but I could be reaching. It's one of those things I'm going to have to allow to simmer for a while before I really have something to cook with. So what did you think? Is it just me, or did you find yourself thinking about the Night Warrior as well? Let me know in the comments below, and you know all the other good YouTube stuff. As always, a shout out to my patrons whose names you can see now. You can also find me streaming both here and on Twitch. So while that's all for now, hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Well, that's some stuff to digest. I'm gonna take a quick break. Hi, Tony. I'm gonna come back, watch a different video of somebody else who broke down that cinematic, but that was a lot of interesting information. So, all right, I'll be right back. All right. So that was interesting. I think the most interesting thing she said about it was, ow, cat, it's my leg. Was tying her to the Night Warrior. That's an interesting idea. I don't know how I want to approach that theory. So her reference to the Night Warriors because Xalatath has the crescent on her forehead, but crescent could mean anything. Like, that's not like a universal moon symbol. especially the way that it's oriented on her forehead. So I don't necessarily equate it to a loon specifically, but what if other cosmic forces have something like a Night Warrior, and Xalatath not was, but is? So if a loon, we don't really know the alignment of a loon. Like, a loon's the mystery. We know that somehow she has an affinity for life and death, but also some attunement to the light. So there's like multiple cosmic forces that a loon draws from. So if there was another entity that could do the same thing and like have their own avatar, and the difference being that Xalatath has found a way to become immortal, while other Night Warriors of a loon couldn't figure out how to contain it and then just died. That's a potential theory. So yeah, that was interesting. A lot of different stuff that she had going on there. Let's see if I can load Bellular's video. It's not 25 minutes, so. Okay, so here's Bellular's video.
And that's why they've made this. It's a cinematic called Supremacy, and today I'm going to break down what we've learned and how it connects to all of the lore that we already know. So you're going to learn a hell of a lot, including what it all means for Midnight. Okay, let's get stuck in. The Supremacy focuses on two characters. We have Xalatath and Nexus King Salhadar. And while in in-game terms Xalatath is a relatively new character, making herself known during Legion, Salhadar actually goes all the way back to the Burning Crusade. That's when Blizzard introduced Ethereals to the setting, along with their mysterious backstory, but it's only recently that we learn Xalatath's role in that backstory and what Salhadar was really up to back then. So, here's what you need to know about both of these characters. Xalatath serves herself. It really is as simple as that. During the War Within expansion, Illyria dispels any rumours of Xalatath actually being a secret fifth old god, and she simply says Xalatath is, quote, a survivor from the depths of time. And in this cinematic, we'll soon see what that really means. Of course, to survive, Zal has had to cut deals. One of which earned her the title.
I don't want to look at your face. Get back to the cinematics.
Another question. Who is Dimensius? Well, he's this thing, a Void Lord, essentially a being of pure void, a vast power, and where the light has the Naru, or the arcane has the Titans, the void has beings such as Dimensius. And by the time we meet Xalatath during Legion, it had been many thousands of years since she turned on Dimensius, who she once served. And that brings us to the character of Salhadar, because when Xalatath turned on Dimensius, Salhadar actually allied with Dimensius, and it all happened during the fall of the ethereal homeworld of Koresh, and knowing about that is key to really getting what goes on in this cinematic. Xalatath is an ancient being. Now, she was once mortal, but that was a long time ago, and for much of her existence, she served as harbinger to Dimensius, the big Void Lord. She would scout around 4 worlds for him to consume. But in truth, Xalatath has only ever served herself. And when Dimensius came for Koresh, the ethereal homeworld, Xalatath played both sides. She helped the Koreshi develop the technology that would save them, and whenever their own defenses began to destroy their bodies, she helped transform them into energy beings, of course, the energy beings that we know as ethereals. This was not done out of kindness, of course. Rather, the technology that they used to survive was her ticket out of Dimensius' service. Salhadar was actually High Priest of the Koreshi back then, and he opposed Xalatath. And when the whole crisis hit, he had secretly turned on his people, he seized power, and he declared himself as High King. Now, he did not succeed in saving Dimensius, but whenever he lowered the Ethereal's barriers, he forced a desperate gamble. Basically, destroy Koresh itself to take Dimensius with it. Of course, with Xal'atath transforming the ethereals into energy beings, they were no longer bound to their world of Koresh. They could go elsewhere, and that meant that Koresh could be sacrificed in this final gambit to destroy Dimensius. The plan almost worked, but not quite. Let's just say they fired things off too early, and ultimately Dimensius was not destroyed. Rather, Dimensius was shattered, and those pieces were scattered throughout the cosmos. So for Xal'atath, while she had gained her freedom, she did not gain ultimate victory over her once boss, Dimensius. Salahadar went on to form a group called the Ethereum, and they ostensibly were hunting down whatever bits of Dimensius survived. They were fighting fire with fire, trying to kill void with void. That's why, in the Burning Crusade, they were our enemies. But in secret, that's not what they were doing. What they were actually doing was gathering the fragments of Dimensius, all so they could one day reform him. And that's why we end up meeting them in the Burning Crusade. Now, there would be many run-ins with that group of ethereals over the years, but for our purposes, we'll now fast forward to patch 11.2. That's the final major patch of the War Within. And since the fall of Koresh, Xal'atath has schemed her way across Azeroth over so many thousands of years. Of course, we meet her in Legion, she gets her body in battle for Azeroth, and eventually, in Dragonflight, she gets the Darkheart, and she starts collecting all of this energy into it. And by the end of the War Within's initial campaign, it all looks great for her, until Illyria Windrunner cracks the Darkheart. Xal'atath needs to get it fixed, so she goes to the people who initially built it, the Goblins, only for a servant of Salahadar to snatch the Darkheart from under her nose. Thanks Galliwix for being a bit of a moron. Those ethereals then used its stored power to reform Dimensius. That then led to patch 11.2. It forced a temporary alliance between us and Xal'atath that saw us storm Manaforge Omega, defeat Salahadar, and end Dimensius, whose power Xal'atath added to the Darkheart. And by the end of the patch, she really does possess all that she needs. And as her forces mop up the remnants of Dimensius's, they come upon Salahadar. And that is where this cinematic begins, and now you understand how those characters got to this place. Supremacy opens on a battlefield and a massacre. Xaladar's ethereals are fighting void creatures, and they are losing badly. The camera makes it clear before anyone speaks a word. Xaladar is shot at eye level or below, surrounded, overwhelmed. And then the demand comes. Xal'atath is supreme, join us. He refuses. His forces retreat. He says, I don't want to do another bargain with another person. Obviously, for such a long time, his lot had been bound to Dimensius. But in reality, it's all over before it begins, because this is not a negotiation between equals. Xal'atath then approaches this defeated man, and her opening pitch tells you exactly the type of manipulator that she is. Quote, for eons, you and your people have been slaves, fed scraps, but I offer you freedom beyond imagining. And here, she's not necessarily threatening him. What she's doing is she's framing herself as his liberator. The Void Lord he served is gone. The Ethereum failed. And she's offering him a story where he's not a traitor who backed the wrong side. One where he is a victim who was never given a real choice until now. Salahadar pushes back, saying, empty promises, what do you know of our suffering? And that's where we see something that is new. Xal'atath dismisses the mythology that's been built up around her. She says, they say I am the harbinger of the void, that I am the blade of the Black Empire that was, referencing her time where it was thought she was in the service of the old gods, such as N'Zoth. But then she says, I'll tell you the truth, no living being has heard. The camera pushes into an extreme close-up on her face, and then the flashback begins. And here Blizzard make a very deliberate choice about how they show her, because her mortal form is a child, wide-eyed, terrified, engulfed by void tendrils that dwarf her, tears streaming across her face. And then the transformation, skin cracking to pale stone, eyes flooding with purple, mouth open mid-scream, reaching out, and essentially It is transformation as violation. There is no power fantasy in what's happening to her. It is just a child being consumed by something that she can't resist, and in all likelihood, that she barely understands. She says, I lost my world just like you. I drowned in hatred and vengeance, just like you. She's drawing a parallel between her suffering and Salhadar's. Of course, what she doesn't say? Well, she was his harbinger. She was scouting out worlds. She is the reason he lost his world. That shared trauma she's invoking, well, she manufactured half of it. And then there's the pivot. Survival is all that matters. This is not some grand philosophy. This isn't some jailer-like, I have to set the cosmos right. It's not some big wisdom, it's just her operating principle. It's simply what she's had to do to continue existing. And it's the same principle that drove her to initially ally with Dimensius, and then to turn on Dimensius, to arm the Koreshi, and eventually to burn every alliance that she has made. So she's not really sharing a lesson learned, she's making a recruitment pitch. That it's just about survival, and with me, you can survive. She says, you are void now. You may flee, but only I offer a true path forward. Survival and more is at my side, and you can lead them all. You'll see, it's not her saying, serve me. It's her saying, lead them. She's offering him exactly what he took for himself on Koresh. Power, title, command. She is handing the man who declared himself High King another crown. And of course he takes it, but the visual language tells you everything about the cost of his acceptance. We see one cut where Salhadar goes from battered and diminished into full void-infused regalia, armored and armed, stepping through a portal. It's a Faustian contract rendered in one gorgeous edit. Basically, all of this initial power is what compliance buys you. Visually, we understand why he says yes, even though we recognize it's a trap, and even though he likely recognizes that it's a trap. We then see the kneeling. Rows of ethereal soldiers, heads bowed, weapons drawn. It's pure feudal imagery of oath-swearing, of vassalage, and it's quite significant. You see, the Void is usually depicted as madness, chaos, whispers in the dark. It is unhinged. But what we see is that Xal'atath's drive for survival is turning Void into empire, into hierarchy. She's essentially using survival of the fittest and raw power to beat a hierarchy into something that is naturally chaotic and disorganized. That's perhaps what makes her different from, say, some of the old gods. But then we get the final shot. Xal'atath floats above a vast army, void creatures towering behind her, ethereals kneeling below, Salhadar at the center looking up. We see the dark eclipse in a burning orange sky, and that is actually quite significant. The whole cinematic has been running on a color tension, purple void energy against an orange sky. But that orange isn't the pure golden light that most of Warcraft's heroes channel. What we see is that when the light, even something like a sunset, is near or in and around Xal'atath, it appears darker, fierier. And if you've seen Varis's visions in patch 11.2.7, you'll see that angry, consuming light devouring the people she loves. You'll recognize the color. So this is the zealous light, the extreme light, which is something Midnight is actively setting up as its own kind of threat. And in this we see Xal'atath floating at the center of both, the void that she wields and the light that we will wield, perhaps inadvertently, against ourselves, all of which will fuel her plan. And if that seems weird, do remember that as a dagger during Legion, she once whispered to us, calling the Naru, quote, long lost brethren. And with that in mind, the final frame is more than just a pretty visual. It's showing that she's not here to defeat the light and to eliminate it. It's more showing she's here to consume absolutely all of it, and that even the light will be bent towards her ends. And then she ends on, now midnight shall fall. And with that, our cinematic ends. So you might be wondering, okay, what does this mean for Midnight? And what's going to happen next?
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in base 44. Guys,
Next. Okay, how do we get from this cinematic to the Midnight expansion? It's actually fairly simple. At the end of patch 11.27, we see Xalatath finally use the energies held within the Darkheart, unleashing the Void Storm, which is the huge stormy portal that you'll soon open over Silvermoon City. And that's what kicks off the Midnight expansion. It's what you saw in the big cinematic. And of course, being a portal, it has another side. That other side is called Voidscar. It's this fallen world that is going to serve as Xalatath's base of operations. Now, in that cinematic at the end of 11.27, we see that Illyria Windrunner is trapped, it would appear anyway, on that world. And within that world, the zone that we'll visit, there is this, the Void Spire. And the Void Spire is where we will find Salhadar in Midnight. And it's where we'll see what will become of him. Because maybe this deal that he's made won't go that well. I mean, if you look at all the characters that Zal has cut deals with, be it when she was a dagger, say with the likes of Natalie Celine, or a lot more recently with all the people she manipulated through the war within, well, yeah, it's probably not going to end well for Salvador. But if you think that we'll go to the Void Spire, kill Xalatath and be done, you would certainly be wrong. That's because Void Spire is not the final raid of Midnight's first tier. The final raid is the March on Caldenas. What happens after that? Well, we do not know. But now, you do know about Xalatath. You know a lot more about her lore from this video, and you've seen the thing that drives her character at its core, with survival and the pretty damn gnarly visual of why. I've got to say, Blizzard's art team absolutely knocked it out of the park with the cinematic. It was fantastic. And if you want to see the War Within's final campaign, which is the one leading directly into Midnight and directly into this very video, or at least the cinematic this video covers, then watch this video next, because that video will tell you the whole story.
Alright, so that was an interesting breakdown. But he did say something that piqued my interest. So far everybody's assuming that she was a being or a priestess of the light. And then in the Discordian Kitty video, she said something about how the Shadowlands seemed too ordered. And then he said something about how the Void is always depicted as like chaos and like all-consuming and no, like, the end game for the Void is just to consume everything. But what he said about what she's doing is bringing a hierarchy and order to the Void, which maybe she's bringing some of her light tenets from her like original self, because it's all about survival, right? Like, she's just trying to survive everything, and Void doesn't do that. Like, even the Void Lords, like, just consume. And once everything's consumed, then there's nothingness, and then they're like, cool, everything's done, we're done. So she's flipping that script on its head, which tells me that she is working potentially for a different faction completely. That's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I could probably look a bunch of these videos up and do this for a while, but I don't want to. I've been on for 2 hours. There's nothing happening in game. So let's just call it an evening there. That did give me some food for thought, though. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a great night. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I don't really have a plan. Oh, I hear thud, thud, thud. You know what that means. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, great night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I'm not going anywhere, unlike Touchpad Warrior. If you saw that video, that was actually funny. But talk to you guys later. Peace. Apparently he didn't want to come and do it, so good night.
What the fuck is the internet?
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where